Hey, Mr. Clash here with a look at the brand new Town Hall 10 3-star attack strategy, Frozen PEKKA. Fro-P or Fro-Pek, whichever you prefer. Okay, now before we get into the attack, I'll leave the troops up on the bottom so you can jot them down on a piece of paper or quickly scramble to get them into your quick train thing on the tab. Just a couple of words that comes from a clanmate Dragonborn who's been doing a lot of attacks with this, and he's wiped out some of my bases that have been throwing up, and his thoughts on it. Now, obviously here we've got some multi-infernos, but things that he said are this. If you have none of your Pekkas enter the base, it's going to be very difficult to 3-star the base. So if you can have 4 Pekkas that come into the base, fantastic. Okay, so if you remember from your Town Hall 8 PEKKA walk days, if you've ever done one, I never did them. I either did a dragon attack, and once my hogs were maxed, I just did hog attacks at Town Hall 8, so I never really did the go wipe route, or I never did PEKKA walks. But in terms of a PEKKA walk here, you can see that if you have a walking PEKKA, and this is a single inferno, and the PEKKA walks into that single stream, that is going to roast the PEKKA something fierce. And if you've got a couple Pekkas, one will go down, it'll retarget the other, so the other will go down, and you'll lose your Pekkas. So that is a consideration that must be taken into account. When your Pekkas are walking, are they going to be walking into an inferno stream, a single target inferno stream, and get absolutely roasted without any way to deal with it? Because unlike witch skellies, the witch skellies might get roasted, and still the witch can keep on spawning more and more and more. Okay, yes, like in this case, you can see the siege machine, yes, there is a siege machine, might be able to get in and distract them by the time the Pekkas get around. Anyway, let's get into this. We'll talk more a little bit about it as the attack goes down. So you've seen the Pekkas come down. Watch where the wizards go here. We've got 8 wizards, siege machine's gone down. We've got wizards on this side and wizards on that side. So just like your PEKKA walk, and sometimes like when there's another attack that I did a video on that we basically was done by the attacker NATO, where you've got a king walking down one side of the base, and the king had 3 to 4 wizards with him walking down one side of the base. So in this case, same deal. You've got a tanking troop walking down the side with wizards to back up. Now, of course, the detrimental thing, unlike witch skellies, the witches can survive a big bomb. They can't survive a big bomb with a little bomb, 2 little bombs next to it, but they can survive a big bomb. A wizard cannot. So if the Pekkas walk and trigger a bomb and the wizard is right in that area, the wizard could possibly perish. So you can see here the cannons being distracted by this PEKKA, and of course the other Pekkas are in the base with some wizards backing up, because that's just how they go. Siege machine's just popping now. We've got bowlers in the siege machine, so double bounce there. Got the poison spell down. We did have 5 poison spells that we're bringing in. Queen's still up. PEKKA, this walking PEKKA, still on this side with that single wizard that's managed to survive, still up. Now the wizard will go down to this wizard tower, so the wizard on the wizard tower took out the wizard on the ground. But PEKKA, low health PEKKA, watch this low health PEKKA. The others are going to path around. Watch this low health PEKKA take out this wizard. He's low health, even big bomb, still survived, 2 hits, wizard tower goes down. Okay, so let's have a look at another one of these sorts of attacks and see what we can learn in regards to what Dragonborn says about getting the Pekkas inside, Pekkas pathing, and that kind of a thing. Okay, so let's have a look at this one. What do we face here with this particular base? We have a single inferno here that is targeting the outside. So if we're coming in from this side with anything, we are going to need to freeze this. Also, we've got a multi at the back end. Now, just before we get into the PEKKA, Frozen PEKKA, talking about this particular base from a Frozen Witch point of view. Now, if you've seen the Frozen Witch video, I'll put a link up there on the screen now, but I'll also put a link in the description below when I talk about coming in on this type of base, pathing all the way across, using the core, taking out some things. Now, the thing with the Frozen Witch with healers is these air defenses can really zot your healers. Before the witches or anything can take these air defenses out, they could nuke your healers, which would mean you'd be wanting to go with a combination that didn't actually have healers, but to possibly take in extra witches and have no healers whatsoever when there's massive amounts of point defense on the outside, and these look like big bomb threats to your witches on this particular base. It's not something that I would do. So from a base identification point of view for a Frozen Witch, this is definitely not a base that I would consider with Frozen Witch. Now, of course, because you've got the siege machine, you need to come in from the opposite side of the siege machine. So in this case, we're still coming in from the corner. Okay, so watch this P.E.K.K.A go down. That P.E.K.K.A just moved out of range then. Freeze the Inferno. So you've got to keep the P.E.K.K.As alive. Got to keep the Queen and King alive as well. If the King and Queen both start wandering around, they're going to suffer the same fate that the P.E.K.K.As will, and that is getting caught in Inferno streams without taking out the middle of the base. So freeze the middle. We've got a couple Wizzies, Expo in the middle of the base. The damaging Inferno has gone down. These P.E.K.K.As are walking around the outside like Buffalo Girls now, and the King and the Queen are in the inside. Queen's going to get taken out, and boom, down she goes. Freeze, freeze on the outside. Things which were putting damage onto the troops. Got a rage spell now. Pups from the Lava Hound. Now, of course, the idea behind the Lava Hound in the clan castle is it can distract the king. The Queen can't distract the king, but can distract the Queen. So instead of the Queen shooting stuff, she's shooting a hound for a very long period of time. So watch this P.E.K.K.A. Now, there's one stream on the P.E.K.K.A, but obviously a single stream would have taken this P.E.K.K.A out long ago. And now watch this top P.E.K.K.A. He's getting taken out. That would normally save the Queen, but he would have been taken out long ago by a single stream, then the single stream would have retargeted to something else. So that P.E.K.K.A, by having the multi, it's certainly not really defending fantastically against mass P.E.K.K.As, but in terms of, say, witch skellies or things like that, the multi works great. But if you don't do witch skellies, well, you can see how these P.E.K.K.As, they were over here under the multi-stream, and they survived, and they've all just walked away. So you've still got these defenses down here. So the troops will just path around. Once they take that out, they're going to path back around and then come back towards the Inferno. But of course, the Queen standing in this corner may be able to get the Inferno. These little minions, they're not going to do too much. And the Queen's health isn't the greatest, but we do have some barbs and the King and the P.E.K.K.As, which will sneak up into that corner, or they'll get caught on this wall before the Queen. The Queen will be shooting the wall from back here kind of thing, or over here, wherever it is, and they'll be getting targeted before the Queen. Okay, so just keep an eye on what's going to happen as they path in, and you'll see what I'm talking about in terms of possible single stream Infernos and how they relate to the P.E.K.K.A. So, okay, locked onto one P.E.K.K.A, locked onto barbs and things like that. So the multis, a single stream would have bang taken out a P.E.K.K.A, now retargeted onto something close to the wall, possibly taken out the next King, targeting up. Now, in this case, it took out the Queen. A single would not have done that. The Queen would still be alive because she was backing up. So that is a consideration before you do the mass P.E.K.K.A thing, and that is keeping an eye on the Infernos and absolutely getting the heroes into the base. If you don't get the heroes into the base, the heroes go walking, and if single Infernos can have the outside range that your P.E.K.K.As and things can walk into, then they will get absolutely roasted. So just like the old Town Hall 8 P.E.K.K.A walk or Town Hall 9 King walk with wizards, having some wizards, 4 wizards walking with the P.E.K.K.As on the outside, the other 4 P.E.K.K.As going in with the Royals and the Siege Machine, that's ideal. Also in terms of base identification, obviously extremely high compact bases with many, many compartments are going to be hard. More wide open bases like you saw, say in this one where they could just walk around, or in the first attack where they could just walk around, are ideal. So that is it. If you've tried Frozen P.E.K.K.A and you've got any other different thoughts on base identification or proceeding with it, do please drop them in the comments below. Do please let me know if you've tried it and what you've thought of it, what successes or failures you've had. If you haven't, do share this with your clanmates and have a bit of a play around. Obviously, we've got 2 3-star attacks in war, so it's not a total novelty attack. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video.